Limpar, who had a brilliant game playing wide on the right at Chelsea last week. He's got a thigh strain. He's ruled out. That's a pity, really. It gives Joe Royle, though, the chance to bring back the more combative John Ebrell, who was injured last week but played very well in the Merseyside derby win. In attack, Duncan Ferguson plays against the Leeds side that he very nearly joined 16 months ago. In the end, he preferred Glasgow Rangers, of course. There's no place, not even on the bench, for Nigeria's Daniel Amakachi. Stuart Barlow is preferred as a substitute.
Well, Joe will obviously go in with this 4-4-2 formation. No surprise to see he's back for the same. And I think once again success will be built on hard work and putting people under pressure when they don't have the ball. It's a loss to the Manders Limpar here not playing. He did offer them a quality from that right-hand side. He's particularly high up the pitch. When you look at Rideout and Ferguson, anything coming across there, you really would fancy the strikers to get on the end of it. But I think this will be a hard-working midfield quartet. There are no goals at all from any of them this season. So it does suggest that Paul Rideout and Ferguson have a lot on to get the goals tonight. But I'm looking to see him again. He was tremendous in the derby. I wonder if we'll see a similar performance from him tonight.
He was tremendous, I can tell you. Last week, too, at Chelsea, they could have had 4. I think they should have had 4. They really were very good, Everton, last week, and I hope they can produce that kind of form tonight in front of the cameras. Leeds United, of course, will hope they don't. Here's the Leeds side. Manager Howard Wilkinson was flirting with one change to the side that beat Nottingham Forest last week, but he's decided against that. It's the same 11 with the 2 South Africans, Phil Masinga and Lucas Radebe, on the bench. Leeds' hopes of signing Ruben Sosa from Inter Milan fell through in the end, but Brian Deane is now displaying his best form since joining Leeds, according to his manager. And Howard Wilkinson also says that Carlton Palmer, playing as a central defender, of course, these days, is now ready for an England recall.
Well, they'll have to play well, the 2 centre-backs tonight. Both Palmer and Weatherall have got a job on. When strikers are playing well and on form, it really does make it difficult for centre-backs. But he can look to Deane, Howard Wilkinson and Whelan, who are 2 strikers again, who are playing very well. And we've got 4 really, well, 6-foot-plus strikers on the pitch tonight. It's going to be interesting. The biggest difference between the 2 sides lies in midfield. No goals in the Everton quartet, but I think all 4 of them are all capable at any time of getting a goal. The one worry I think for Howard Wilson at times and away from home is the midfield do tend to empty it. Both Speed and McAllister like to go forward. They like to join in the attack. And I think at times when they do that, they do leave a big gap here that teams exploit a little bit. Perhaps Galloway Carrister's experience will say, well, hold on a minute, I'll be the one who just maybe holds a little bit, gives a little bit of depth to the midfield.
Everton off the bottom now, and if they won this by a 3-goal margin, they'd be out of the dreaded bottom 4 as well. Leeds, just to remind you, they need this win here tonight, and they'll go 5th if they can get it. But can they produce the kind of form away from home that they produce so often at Ellen Road? Here's their skipper, Gary McAllister. Up down the line towards White. Ablett doing the covering. Gary Kelly is going to try a long throw by the look of it.
Yeah, David Weatherall's going up as well,
Instead they do it short. Kelly does well with his cross. Back out to McAllister. Lovely little flick, but it's offside against Whelan.
McAllister, he's always looking in. Even under pressure, he's got time to pull that down and pick out Whelan. I'll tell you what, it's very close, isn't it? Always difficult for linesmen, though, when defences are moving out. Carlton Palmer just cleared it up.
The corners of Andy Hinchcliffe have been causing problems in recent games. There's another one, and it's caused a problem this time as well. Everton ahead again here.
Well, that's a great header from Paul Rideout. But where on earth was Leeds marking? It's a straightforward corner. It's very well delivered. Pace. But look at Paul Rideout. That's very poor marking if you're defending a corner in. But I tell you what, it's a quality ball in, a quality header, really powerful, really direct. But I say it again, where on earth was the marking?
Carlton Palmer playing it long, hoping that Rod Wallace can break onto the end of it. Wallace being used mostly this season in wide roles, wide on the right, wide on the left, and not as a strike partner to the big man up front, as he was in the Championship year when he played with Lee Chapman. There was a story, of course, in the papers recently, which came from Illy Dumitrescu himself, who said Leeds were interested in signing him. Howard Wilkinson said nonsense when I asked him about that this morning. Meanwhile, right out again, stropping out Ferguson, was running in. Luckily, the touch by Lukic took it to the corner.
Oh, not luckily, and I tell you, that's a great save from the goalkeeper. Ferguson's power in the air's the first thing. Right out doesn't give it up, but it's a snapshot. You hit the ball early, you take the goalkeeper by surprise, and I think that's what he does here. I'll tell you what, that's a great save from Lukic. Just might have slipped in the corner.
Another Hinchcliffe corner, and nearly another goal. Ferguson.
Well, both Ablett and Rideout holding their heads, and both of them had an opportunity to put a head on it.
But where were the Leeds defenders again?
You tell me. How many times do they need a warning? Ablett comes out, misses it. Rideout goes in, misses it. I mean, that was a glorious opportunity. Look at that, two of them in between two Leeds players. What is happening in there? I mean, Howard must be wondering what on earth is going on.
He can't be a happy man with the start his side have made here. Howard Wilkinson was saying he thought this would be like a cup tie, the atmosphere tonight. In the real FA Cup, Everton have been drawn here. They'll play Derby County. Leeds will be away to Preston or Walsall. And be mindful that they've already been knocked out of one cup competition this year by Mansfield. Now this is Whelan. Dorigo. Dean tries to win it. Then White on the turn. Deflected off Unsworth for a corner. And Ablett down injured.
Well, there's a handful, Brian Dean, when they just hoist the ball in, as Tony Dorigo does here. He does enough to stop the ball being cleared. Gary McAllister wants this. You see him coming in from the left. He was attacking the ball. He might have been better positioned to take the shot at goal.
Brian Dean, who's becoming a bit of a favourite with the Ellen Road fans. He set up the winner last week against Nottingham Forest, and it's not been easy for him. A lot of publicity about Howard Wilkinson looking for other strikers. Ruben Sosa, the Skurabi deal which fell through, and of course before he was signed they were going to sign Duncan Ferguson, the man playing in the other number 9 shirt tonight.
I remember that story. I was on holiday in Portugal and I bumped into Howard Wilkinson. We were talking about the game and he was saying at the time, I said to him, anything happened in the summer? And he said, yeah, I'm very hopeful. I get a kid from Dundee United. I said, don't tell me, Duncan Ferguson. He said, yeah. He said, I've got him down soon and I'm really hopeful of clinching the deal. Obviously it fell through.
He preferred Glasgow Rangers.
He did.
That was the bottom line. But now Everton, of course, want to make his move here permanent. Meanwhile, McAllister with the corner kick. McAllister and Southall not realising or knowing, and he couldn't take the chance that there was nobody behind him.
Yeah, he just obviously wasn't sure of his positioning. Lost his bearings a little. The goalkeeper normally never would just let that one go harmlessly for a goal kick.
Leeds United's second corner in a matter of seconds. McAllister taking it and Southall claiming it well, having given away the corner in the first place. Hinchcliffe up to Ferguson.
Look at the blue shots around the ball there on this near side in the lost it in. 3 of them immediately put the Leeds player under pressure.
Stewart curling one.
And Leeds have found it difficult to put any sort of football together under that sort of pressure. Oh, so look at that. Look at all the shots there. 3, 4 of them in that shot. So there's a fair chance they're going to win the ball. And you can see what Graham Stewart's trying to do here. Stays off him a little bit, Gary Kelly, but the ball doesn't come down quick enough for him.
With Gary Ablett having to come off and Graham Stewart on. Leeds have the 2 South Africans, Masinga and Lucas Radebe on the bench. Masinga a striker, Radebe who plays usually in midfield. Weatherall in very quickly. Oh, that's a bad bounce for Southall. Can Dean get in there? Well, that's a real alarm for Everton. They've got away with it for the moment, but Southall there completely deceived by the bounce.
Well, every picture tells a story, they say.
Dorigo. Oh, and it was White who came in, slicing his chance, but a better start by Leeds United.
Well, I'll tell you what, Tony Dorigo blasted that across, but all because of a shake of the head. He thinks he's got this, and oh dear, dear, dear. That's totally misjudged. And I tell you, he's very thankful that his centre-back didn't give it up either. But what a ball this is from Gary McAllister. That's magnificent. Dorigo fires it across along the ground. And I think that's a chance. You don't have to do much with that.
And
Wallace, David White, sorry, except put your foot in it and direct it. And he couldn't do that because it whizzed across at ground level.
Sorry to cut across you then, Andy. I thought Wallace was going to break onto a chance for a moment, but it wasn't to be. I wonder what Howard Wilkinson said at half-time. I bet he was turning the air blue in there because Leeds in that first half were a bit sloppy defensively, weren't they, to put it mildly. Kelly, back to McAllister. And then Hinchcliffe getting it away. Everton with 10 players back behind the ball at that stage. The wind is becoming a howling gale, I can tell you. Oh, Weatherall took a bit of a chance and got away with it against Ferguson. Dorigo. And Whelan could be in here, all brought down by Antwer. And if that's seen as a foul, it's a red card offence, but it isn't seen as a foul. Well, there's a debating point for you.
Well, it is, because if he doesn't win the ball, then it is a foul. Again, a long ball troubles him. No Whelan's through. Now, there's no reason why Whelan should go down here, and I think Unsworth got lucky here. I think Whelan gets to the ball. The left leg comes round there. I don't think makes any contact with anything other than Whelan. Admittedly, the referee's looking at that from a long way back. He had a quick look at his linesman. I have to be fair to Paul Durkin. While I was looking at him closely, he looked to his linesman, who was right in line with it. The linesman did nothing. So therefore, if the referee's not sure, he has to let play go on.
Well, the linesman over there on that far side, Barry Priest. And then Hinchcliffe with the unceremonious clearance. Ferguson wins it well. Right out spreads it wide, but no chance of Jackson to pick that up. Plenty for Rodney Wallace. Keeps possession despite Parkinson's challenge. No free kick. Advantage rule played by the referee. Carlton Palmer goes back this time. He got into a bit of bother once before. Carlton Palmer, who's celebrating his 29th birthday today, if celebration's the right word when you're 1-0 down in a game as hot as this one at Goodison. It's hardly a relaxing evening out, is it? It's Ferguson to Hinchcliffe, and then Stewart. Unsworth quick enough to get there. Trying the chip, and Lukic. So did he get a touch on that? He did. He said I didn't. He said I let it go, not to concede the corner.
I thought he touched it, I have to say. One of those tricky ones, swirling in the windy, and he's not sure, not 100% anyway. Yeah, he did push it over.
Here's another Hinchcliffe corner. Flicked on again, and Ferguson with the header. And Lukic definitely touched that one.
Are you sure? Yeah, again, they don't clear the corner, eh? First Rideout gets the first touch. Then Ferguson trying to look it over the goalkeeper. He would have done so, but Lukic is about 6'3", and that's not an easy thing to do.
Hinchcliffe again, whipping it in, so much daring, and Ferguson has got a goal. He's going into hiding behind his shirt. but it was a wonderful glancing header, and again it's a corner that produces the goal, just as it did against Liverpool at that end.
Well,
2-0.
why should we be surprised? They haven't dealt with a corner all night. I just wondered for a minute, did he take a ride on Paul Ryder's shoulders? He gets up so well behind Paul Ryder. No, he didn't. Clean jump, lovely glancing header, and all down to good delivery again from Andy Hinchcliffe. These corners have tormented Leeds tonight, they really have.
Speed takes it quickly to Wallace. Now Carlton Palmer, has he got time and room?
Well, that's just a little example of the pressure he was under. He had a bit of time for a fraction of a second, but then Ebro, Parkinson and Watson, well, look at them. 3 of them collapse in a heap, 4 of them put them under pressure. Now that's what you call pressurising the ball.
Wilkinson and Nick Hannigan with 1 or 2 problems to sort out.
Everything's been cheered, isn't it? Here, everything, every tackle, every time they close it down. Even the most basic things.
There's a real passion and fervour about the place again at the moment. Leeds United, I'm sure, will be reflecting that they'd have much rather come here about 6 weeks ago. Vaughan, Ferguson, taking on Palmer, who gets in his challenge. Another corner, and that could be more problems. The way Andy Hinchcliffe is delivering them tonight.
This should be an easier one to do with. This side should be easier because it's going to be coming away from goal. I always think that the one from this near side, Ian, and he's whipping it in towards the goal and whipping it under the crossbar is the more difficult one. But we will see.
Hinchcliffe. Was that a hand by Gary Speed? It looked like it. It's a penalty. Gary Speed handled it.
Well, that just about sums up the difficulty they've had, Ian. Up comes the hand. I don't think there's any doubt. There it is. It's to stop right out getting your head on the ball. The referee's in a great position. He's got absolutely no choice but to point to the spot and award a penalty.
David Unsworth is going to take the penalty kick. He scored it as well. Everton lead by 3 goals to 0 here, and they're going haywire.
Well, it's all going right for them, isn't it?
It's his 2nd goal of the season, Unsworth.
Very calmly done. Goalkeeper goes early, and the kid just watches him and strokes it into the other corner. Nicely done. And that for Everton should be home and dry. But what on earth does Howard Wilkinson do? Another away defeat looks very much on the cards now.
And they've all been against sides who've been at best in the middle of the table, and a lot of them down near the bottom.
Well, Ipswich you mentioned, I'm sure, didn't you?
The Leeds now in danger of being swamped here. Everton have outfought them. If it stays like this, with a 3-goal margin, Everton are out of the bottom 4 this evening. What a remarkable turnaround that would be in their fortunes in the 23-day reign of Joe Royle. Well, not many people would have bet much on a scoreline like that at the start of the night. 3-0 to Everton. McAllister. Oh, and a great header from Weatherall, and saved by Southall.
Well, the referee's mistaken. Neville will take it. It's down in his locker as a save now, but it isn't a save. Weatherall gets up well. It's a good header. It really is. Look, it hits the top of the bar.
I wondered if he'd got a fingertip onto it. You were quite right, Andy. It just hit the top of the bar. White. White again. Nothing going right for Leeds United.
Well, we can clear it up. The ball in's a good one. The header's a good one. It's trying to dip, Well, top of the bar. It's now down, and Neville Southall's book as a great save.
Farmer, McAllister, unable to impose his usual elegant control of things in the middle of the field today. Gary McAllister, it's just been so ferocious, so tigerish, the tackling from the midfield quartet of Everton, and of course the defenders too. Weatherall, up goes Speed, trying to win it. And back in again by Weatherall, who has his head in his hands as if to say, should have done better.
Do you know something I noticed, Ian? Gary Speed gave away the penalty, but the last corner before, and I want you to watch him, the number 11 there. Now watch his hand. Watch this, is right there, the left hand was up. Now how close was he to giving away a penalty there? And that was the last corner from that side. The next one came in, well, and this is it. Up goes that left hand again. I just wondered, is it a natural way he jumps? Two in quick succession like that. One he got away with, and one he certainly didn't.
In which case it's dangerous, isn't it? A dangerous way to jump. With David Burrows there at the back, who's serving the last game of a 3-game suspension, and Vinnie Sandways has had a back injury, but is fit again. Not in the squad tonight, but back in contention, certainly. It looked like a hand. Dorigo. Dean gets that one, and then Whelan with the header. Close.
Yeah,
close.
Unlucky. Good link up. Good ball to Dean. Good header down. And Noel Whelan's got 1 or 2 headed goals recently, and he makes a good run off his strike partner. But he's just unable to direct his own header well enough. Dean's not going for goal. He's helping it into an area. Whelan gets in front of Watson for one of the few times tonight.
I think Joe might be winning one of those Manager of the Month awards. Maybe there might be 1 or 2 other contenders, but Joe would certainly be in the running. Dean getting this one in. Crowd whistling for it to end as if there was only 1 goal in it. Instead, Everton are very comfortable. 3-0 up, Dorigo. Southall comes for it, Dean! And hacked off the line by the man of the match, Andy Hinchcliffe. As if to confirm the point, he certainly was the central character. Joe Royle continues to be a very happy man. Everton are out of the dreaded bottom 4. Amazing stuff. Duncan Ferguson has scored again. Will they be able to make his move permanent? They certainly hope so. Paul Rideout has scored for the 3rd time in 3 matches. Standing ovation. Gary Speed, who handled to give David Unsworth a penalty, which he put in with great authority. Everything went right. Everything went right for Everton. They win by 3-0 over Leeds United, who lose for the 5th time away from home this season. And I tell you what, Everton will want to play in front of the Sky cameras on a Monday night, every Monday. They've beaten Liverpool in the Merseyside derby a couple of weeks ago here. Next home match, they've beaten Leeds 3-0. Andy.